It's not easy at all being a VTuber. More than likely, if you haven't already, you're probably not ever going to show your face, or you're going to contemplate on showing it in the future. And if you're just starting out, you're either paying out of pocket for your own model, which is money very well spent, by the way, or you're making your own. This means having to spend hours drawing your character, and not only drawing, but even having to make the backstory / lore for your VTuber models and create a whole theme based around the model. It is honestly amazing seeing how creative you can be, and not just that, how much work goes into it. Hello, what's up, and welcome everyone. My name is Miss Quinn, and today we'll be diving deep into the rise and fall of VShojo. Please note that this is a super deep dive. I will be going into not only the history of VShojo, but also their talents, or rather their former talents, because in mid-2025, they started leaving one by one. VShojo might as well have been singing "Stay With Me" by Sam Smith, because I bet you anything that's what they felt at the very end. However, I'm getting ahead of myself here. As I said in the introduction, if the VTubers are making their own model, it could take them anywhere from weeks to months. This is because they each have their own individual style, brainstorming different looks for their models, like hair, outfits, wigs, wings or no wings, accessories or weapons. I mean, are you looking for a bust or a full body model? How about a chibi? There are so many things that go into it. Or if you pay for models, then you're looking at anywhere from $45 to $600. But that seems to be the standard price from where I'm looking at. But keep in mind, I am looking into Fiverr, so I don't know of any other prices. But I'm pretty sure there are prices well over $600 too. And again, this is money very well spent. November 24 of 2020 is the year VShojo was launched, and for many people, that was a fantastic day. And right away, they were signing big name VTubers like Iron Mouse, Zentreya, which I hope I pronounced it very correctly, and Silverveil, to name a few, as their first generation of VTubers. Later on, you would also have other VTubers such as Vebe, Kuro, Keisan, and Michi. And again, these are all names that I hope I am pronouncing correctly. With a passion for singing, Iron Mouse, who is a VTuber from Puerto Rico, had dreams of being an opera singer, having a singing voice that many would gladly sit for hours just to hear, and a voice that many would also love to have. However, even though her passion and her dreams were powerful, it had to be cut short. You see, Iron Mouse suffers from a chronic illness which only got worse. But she didn't let that deter her for too long. There was no absolute way that a trained opera singer with a fiery personality was ever going to lay down without a fight. YouNow was a popular live streaming site that was created in September 12 of 2011. It had Eugene Cooney, who later switched over to another platform, and even Zach Clayton, who also did the same thing as well. So it wasn't surprising when Iron Mouse herself clicked on the button to go live and changed her life forever in 2017. And for those of you wondering that, oh, in order to do this, I need to have a fancy this or I need a fancy that. No, all she started up with was a copy of a face rig that her friend bought her that was on sale for $5.99, and a free avatar from the Steam Workshop, and a pair of iPhone headphones that she used as a microphone. She didn't need to start off with a fancy VTuber model or a $3,000 setup. Now, keeping the ball rolling in that same year, Iron Mouse opened up a Twitch account on September 28, then created the YouTube account the very next day. Now, it's not known exactly when, but her earliest known stream on Twitch was on August of 2018. 2019 saw a really big change for Iron Mouse, considering that this is when she now switched over to Twitch as her main streaming platform, even though she was still streaming on YouNow until early 2020. Now, May 15 of 2020 saw Iron Mouse hit a goal at becoming a Twitch partner. Honestly, it was amazing for people who enjoy her content, for the reason being that she honestly really fun to watch. She's absolutely hilarious. She can literally keep me entertained for hours. It was also amazing being the fact that she originally joined Twitch in order to make friends and have fun talking to people. Gon was a nervous woman who joined, and there was the most passionate, powerful voice who found a welcoming community.
I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. So then I found streaming, and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online. I never really expected to grow an audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. I just thought that I would stream to, 5 to 10 people and just hang out from time to time, make some friends, play games, and just continue on with my life.
Zentreya, alongside Iron Mouse, is another founding member of VShojo, currently sitting at 593,000 followers on Twitch and 428,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, she originally came from a VR chat site where she was the founder of a group called the Anti-Lewd Army. Now, she is known for being a variety streamer, which I honestly do very much like. I took a gander at her streams a lot of times, streaming things like Battlefield 6, Lethal Company, and Peak. She enjoys having a bit of back and forth of banter with her community, and I find that amusing, and they often troll each other like crazy. Personally, I also like how this trolling also extends to her friends whenever they play games together like Peak, which is amazing to see.
I have supplies. How do I got here?
Fuck. Guys, you gotta hurry.
No!
It also shows a good relationship between all of them. And I honestly do like that because sometimes you can tell when one streamer isn't really into playing. But in this case, it's amazing how they all just vibe with each other. Now, if you don't know who she is and you decide to watch her streams, you'll notice that she doesn't technically speak. It seems to be something that changes her voice, like AI or something similar to the fact. And this is because she has had the desire to protect her real life identity since the very beginning.
I should.
Did you just
But
burn the
I'm-
rope?
Well, no, I didn't do that.
Me when brain hurt.
What's happening?
Good question.
bad.
Oh my god, it's the monster guy!
I honestly thought that it was just me that was hearing this, or maybe it was the specific clip that I was watching, but when I watched a full stream and more streams and more clips, yeah, no, that's how it is. And again, I don't mind this considering that people tend to, not respect privacy whatsoever, even though the streamer clearly wants privacy. Like in their personal life, there's a difference between streaming certain things like games and wanting, your real life to be out there, which it's clear that she doesn't want her voice out there because it's probably, like a very unique type of voice. And considering with what happened to Corp's husband, it's pretty obvious, what happened. Anyway, on July 3rd of 2016 is when she made her YouTube account and created her YouTube channel on March 30th of 2017. Now, it was an absolute great idea because I don't think she knew just how far she was going to go when she first went live with Twitch on November 30th of 2017. Now she is a very well-known VTuber, and it's just amazing to see how far she came from. Now, Veibe, if I am pronouncing it correctly, was next to join VShojo almost 5 months after its creation on April 9 of 2021. Veibe made her Twitch account on July 25th of 2015, which is now reached 1.1 million followers. Also, being a variety streamer, she lately streamed Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mage Arena, Old School RuneScape, and Pretty Derby. Now, the wiki says she's rude on stream, often discussing inappropriate and lewd topics and bullying her chat. It's probably just me, but I don't take it as her bullying or her being rude. She just seems to have a spunky personality. I can see why people think she's rude, but again, that just seems to be the way that she has banter with her chat, and she's really fun to watch. A lot of these people are very fun to watch.
For the bits, and Bugante1, Lone Wolf, Engeltori, Dildo. Wait, what the fuck is your name? Didilido? Is this supposed to say dildo? Didelido? Didelido? I'm just saying, look. I'm pretty sure it's a Didelido. Dideldo. Didelido. Didelido. Tricarius, 17TD, what the fuck? Can you guys just rename yourselves, please? If I'm gonna be a better streamer, I need you guys to tune down your names to something stupid and short and easy to read. Ratnapper, thank you for the 5 gifted. The Pig P, Henny, welcome back, and Dartaru, thanks.
I just get like a trolley type of behavior, and again, it's very quite enjoying. And I don't know, I like it. I don't mind reading the wiki, fandom pages, but I like to also go on their streams to see, okay, is this actually true? Is this actually how they behave? Or are they just putting in filler? And I think whoever wrote this, I don't know who wrote it, and I don't mean to offend anybody, trust me, but I just think they were confusing her attitude with straight up bullying or just making it sound rude. It's just like, no, that seems to be how a lot of people act nowadays, or even not how they act. I mean, it's pretty normal. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to listen to. I don't know, she's just a very entertaining person. She's funny, just like Iron Mouse. It's just a different type of humor, if that makes sense. Now, on May 4th of 2020, a year before she actually joined VShojo, she actually made her YouTube account, which served to upload stream highlights. Her first video on that channel was just 4 days later, and she now sits at 612,000 subscribers on YouTube. In the videos and streams that I have sat through, Kei-san speaks both English and Japanese. Honestly, impressive as hell, even though she once described herself as a foreigner who speaks poor Japanese. This obviously didn't stop her, however, because she then created her YouTube channel in March 17 of 2017. She has already uploaded videos and streams, but as with most channels, unfortunately, these earlier streams and videos are no longer available, so I couldn't really pinpoint the exact, month or date that she actually started to put out content. And also, unlike the rest, her main streaming platform is not Twitch. She actually streams on YouTube more than any other platform. What caught me off guard at first with Kei-san and made me rethink if I was looking at the right, channel, is that she shows her real life face a lot. Now, this is because she once said she's, quote unquote, sometimes a VTuber when my face is too fucked up for streaming. Now, this makes sense considering that I haven't really seen anyone else in VShojo show their face as much as she has, but obviously theirs is for privacy reasons that they don't want to show their face. And Kei-san, you're pretty. I don't know. If you see this video, you're a pretty girl. I'm saying. Whether you feel like your face is quote unquote fucked up or not is completely irrelevant. Show your face, be proud, do you. But if you want to be a VTuber, I mean, that's okay too. I doubt your face is ever that fucked up. Anyway, I'm derailing. August 21 of 2020 brought Kei-san 1,000 subscribers, to which she streamed in celebration of her milestone, although it was her only stream that year. Later on next year in 2021, she did a few streams on YouTube, but most of that was in the first half of the year. Later on in that same year, she reached another milestone on YouTube for 200,000 subscribers in May 12. Then, after a massive spike in her channel, she rose to 500,000 subscribers in June 16, again, of that same year. Girl was hitting milestones after milestones. The only milestones I hit is how many tacos I had than the last time. In 2022, she made an announcement on Twitch that she was planning on streaming more, and guess what? She did. Also in that same year, Kei-san had joined VShojo in July 2nd. I just find it upsetting that, according to Iron Mouse, some people weren't too excited about her joining, But you know, fuck them.
Bro, y'all know, you guys know the story of this model. You know the story of this model? You know why I can barely use this model anymore? Once upon a time, a long time ago, some people didn't like the fact that Kason joined VShojo. They publicly expressed their disappointment and upsetudity on the internet. Sometimes people that work on people's things don't like certain things, and when they don't like certain things that happen, they make messages and they express their disappointment and upsetudity.
There is something to be said when a person jokingly describes their own content as trash because they're British and Filipino. And oh yes, there is indeed, because this man is very upfront with his thoughts in a serious manner when, you know, it needs to be serious, and in a joking manner when he needs to be joking. This man really knows how to read the room. It's a certain skill that a lot of people seem to be lacking, in my opinion, nowadays, but this man does it fairly well. Kuro created his Twitch account on July 30th of 2023 and also thought so far ahead and created a YouTube channel that very same day for his VODs, highlights, and clips. I personally like that he hit the ground running and got all of his ducks in a row. What also seemed to have helped him out was that when running into a complicated tax issue situation, he had reached out to Iron Mouse, and it was shortly after reaching out to Iron Mouse that she had referred to him to Gunrun, who is the founder of VShojo and the reason why we are talking about this today. However, Gunrun surprisingly made a lot of effort to help him with it. The situation must have made a huge impression because when Kuro did consider becoming an independent VTuber, he ultimately went with VShojo. So on September 30th of 2023, he was now the 14th member of VShojo and the only guy there as well. Even on the day that VShojo ultimately, left and could no longer become a company and lost all of their VTubers, he was still the only guy there. Amongst the 16 members, he was the only guy. As the 16th member of VShojo, Michi was the last member to join on April 17 of 2024, which is last year, obviously. Now, going into any one of her streams, which I did, or VODs on YouTube, will show you just how much high energy she has. It is super infectious and it makes me laugh and smile. I absolutely love it. Now, she consistently does collabs with friends and other VTubers. However, when she does her just chatting streams, she's actually pretty chill. Her Twitch channel was created March 26th of last year, and her YouTube channel was created just a day later on March 27, obviously the same year. Now, it is unclear when she actually started to stream on Twitch, since unfortunately many of those things tend to be lost to time, so to speak. But she had quickly managed to reach the Twitch partner program. Hitting Twitch affiliate is one thing, but partner, it's super impressive in my book. In my eyes, as well as interesting to say the very least, and somewhat funny, was the way that VShojo announced her entering the company was weird but oddly funny. I honestly don't know how I should feel about it, and I don't know how to describe it, but I think they were going for the type of humor like The Office. The VShojo security experience follows a live action skit of a security guard telling you how it is to be a guard there. Now he then is notified that someone has stole a suitcase and places the floor under lockdown. That is essentially what the video is about, and it's only about 5 or so minutes. A few days later, on April 15, they posted another similar type of video called Office Lockdown. And listen, you don't have to watch it, in my opinion. If you want, I could, link it down in the description down below. But it's basically about the employees mad that they're going to miss Wings Wednesday. That's essentially what it is. And then they do an uprising. That video was honestly about as exciting as a boring episode on TV that you waited all week to see. Because a few days later, on April 17, they announced her in a video called The Thief, where obviously, as the title suggests, she is the thief. She is the one that took the suitcase in the end. Her first stream as a member of VShojo wasn't until April 20th on Twitch and went extremely well. It had a peak of over 42,000 viewers. And after her first VShojo member stream, she gained approximately over 40,000 followers. This obviously means that she was very well received. Well, that and that she's obviously entertaining. Michi also normally streams for hours, and I do mean hours, anywhere from 4 hours to a mind-breaking almost 48 hours. Of course, the streams that are that long are what she titles as scammerthons, which is of course a subathon. For those of you who don't know what a subathon is, that is essentially where a streamer just adds on more time to their stream the more people subscribe. So like, let's just say for example, 5 subscriptions come in, well, they add another 5 minutes or 10, however much they want to add. Obviously they're the ones that set the rules, like each sub equals 5 minutes or each sub equals 10 minutes, and so on and so on. And yes, she went to almost 48 hours with this, but mind you, she wasn't awake for these 48 hours. She was also sleeping during this time. Which, hey, I mean, people love to watch that as well. I'm not gonna yuck on somebody's yum.
Oh my god! Yay.
Smash.
Yeah. I think this is
Kappa didn't even write anything. You just see their name, and then this pea shooter from Plants vs Zombies. I'm gonna die.
Now, the reason why I needed to say all of this backstory for all of them, but especially for Iron Mouse, is because her leaving, in my opinion, was the cause for the entire shit show to be known. It's also important that we know about a lot of the members that were in it, even though we're really only tackling 6 of the members here. Since Iron Mouse first left VShojo on July 21st of this year, I have been reading, researching, and working on everything on and off in between different videos and streams. Even now I continue to try and gather up more information, but I need to figure out when to stop. I had to, unless I wanted this video to be over 2 hours long. Because even though you would like to say, oh, it's something so simple, no, there's so much going into this and so much more details that keep, coming up with every VTuber sharing their own side of the story, which I think is extremely important. Iron Mouse suffered from CVID, which is essentially a rare primary immune deficiency disorder. This means that her body unfortunately cannot produce sufficient antibodies to fight infections.
I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID. I basically have a low to near non-functioning immune system, which means I get sick a lot, and it caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life.
10 months ago, Iron Mouse even uploaded a video onto YouTube, obviously one of her VODs, talking about how she no longer needs a wheelchair and that she's actually recently been able to walk.
No, I just recently started being able to walk, but not outside. I recently started using a treadmill in my house. I used to not be able to walk. I had like muscular atrophy from being very sick and having to be in bed all the time.
At this time, saying that she has a treadmill in her house, which she could only really be on for 5 minutes. And in a recent stream, but I forgot to clip it since I was honestly just enjoying her talking and it didn't occur to me to record her stream, so that wasn't my bad. But anyway, she describes having quote-unquote craters in her arms from how many times she's needed to have shots in her arms. I like the fact that she finds a way to have some sense of humor into this and makes a joke. She's like, I look like a druggie, and then she starts laughing. She's already done so much for her community. Iron Mouse has knowingly raised over $1.3 million for the Immune Deficiency Foundation as of July 29 of this year alone. Now, this is a fantastic feat considering that her original goal for this charity stream was just $10,000, okay? This wasn't just one time that she had raised money for the foundation either, and it was obviously very important to her. Trust me, this information is all relevant, just bear with me, okay? Now, in June 2023, Iron Mouse streamed for a total of 30 days, obviously for a subathon. She also donated half of the subscription earnings to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. She had amazingly raised over $329,000. Again, that was just her first charity stream. Her second charity stream happened just over a year later on September 2024 and raised over $515,000. Like I said, raising money for the charity stream wasn't her first rodeo. And again, this was something she was known to do. It's not just a surprise, like, oh, I didn't know she raised money for charity, but yet you've been watching her all this time. No, it's pretty obvious she raises money for charity because she makes it such an important thing, which it should be an important thing. It's truly inspiring either way when creators use their platforms to bring awareness to foundations that they're really passionate about. And a few months ago, I decided to randomly go on LinkedIn, okay, and search for VShojo, and well, what I saw was not surprising. If you go by what his Twitter bio says, then you will have absolutely no information on him. But that's not the case if you head over to his Instagram. You see, there's no way I can talk about the Immune Deficiency Foundation without talking about Gunrun, and I can't talk about Gunrun without ultimately talking about VShojo. Justin Gunrun Ignacio is, well, was at this point, the co-founder and CEO of VShojo. Now, he is also the IRL backpack creator, which you can still find more information on the backpack on gunrun.tv. And yes, the domain is still active. You can still currently go on it. It's essentially a backpack where you can take your stream on the go, since it allows for untethered broadcasts to Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and more. Sorry, I was channeling my inner salesman, and if you think this isn't him, trust me, it is. In the bio, he even says, in 2020, as I became busy with my work at VShojo, I made the decision to discontinue the guide and now direct interested streamers to IRL backpack solutions through unlimited IRL. Now, if you click on it, this is literally, guys, just a link to where you can buy one of the backpacks for, just a small price of almost $2,100. And if you ask him about, his goal for VShojo, his goal was supposed to empower the English-speaking VTubers, but yet I don't think this is what he accomplished. Maybe his intention was just slightly skewed after a while, but I'm obviously underselling this. Taking a look into Gunrun's Instagram, you can tell he loves to travel to places like E3, going to concerts. I mean, this one about the Persona concert, he posted it on April 24 of 2019, just a year before he would essentially create VShojo. Scrolling down his Instagram, however, you can see that his page was mostly about tech, food, traveling, all the three things I wish I could do if I had enough money. But hey, maybe I can afford it if I do all the things that he is allegedly being accused of. In 2023, he went to the Streamer Awards with Seadog and Iron Mouse, of course, saying that she was nominated for Best Just Chatting Streamer and Best VTuber. VShojo was also nominated for Best Content Organization, and Vebe was also nominated for Best VTuber. Either way, this was amazing promotion for the company. VShojo doesn't seem to have one best organization, which I'm kind of happy now, like with, hindsight being 2020 and all. But Iron Mouse did take home Best VTuber. On LinkedIn, he had reposted something that was first made by Esports Charts and Stream Charts, talking about groundbreaking ways that VTubers are doing in order to keep connecting with their fans while still remaining anonymous. And of course, this included Gunrun's thoughts about the subject. One of the changes has been that VTubers are more comfortable wearing masks when making public appearances off camera, like convention meet and greets, and for those who still prefer complete anonymity, there have been advancements in technology that more easily allow for telepresence setups. Another post that Gunrun had reposted was from Do Not Peak Entertainment, complete with pictures and all, which was my absolute favorite of all the stuff that he had reposted. We had such a blast getting to work with BBNO $. I'm so sorry I'm like pronouncing all of that, but hey. And Iron Mouse for their collab, and Hatsuna, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, Miku cosplay. Huge shout out to Rob Simpson for helping make this happen, as well as being the greatest VTuber iPad holder of all time. Plus a special thank you to everyone who tuned in during the stream. All money earned during the stream is being donated to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. And what do you know? They put hashtag Iron Mouse, then they even put lovely 3 photos that they attach to their, post with, just icing on the cake. More evidence that, he was fully aware that, charities were a thing whenever it came to Iron Mouse, the obvious, concepts. And just in case he claims we didn't do that much for the foundation, or, oh, I didn't know. On August 18 of last year, you posted on your Instagram 2 photos of yourself with Iron Mouse at the San Francisco Zoo for the IDF walk. And if again he claims to be like, oh, I didn't know about this happen, this is literally the last thing he posted on his Instagram. It's kind of really hard to pretend it's not there when it is the exact last thing that he posted. Many in the comment sections of his socials are having the same exact thoughts. CEO Justin Gunrun Ignacio had everything and threw it all away for money, but was it really all that bad?
I am filming. Can I call you back? Holy fuck. What the fuck is happening? Sorry, chat. Anarchy just called me to tell me Iron Mouse left VShojo. There is something going on at VShojo. I'm literally filming.
Iron Mouse actually did leave VShojo? What? You making a joke? No, it's real? What? Wait, Zen just wrote, yeah. What? To my community, I love you all dearly and thank you. What?
I'm getting paid right now.
Get him, man. Are you getting paid right now? Yeah, they just don't know how to handle finances. Ah, okay, yeah.
July 21st of this year, Iron Mouse was the first one to pull the curtains with a video titled Why I Left VShojo. And with that, the dam was broken, the town was being flooded, and yes, obviously, I am being overly dramatic. Other talents such as Keisan, Kuro, and Michi also uploaded their respective videos talking about leaving. This, of course, means that they all have their own reasons for leaving, so they couldn't really speak about the other one. They could only really speak about themselves. And please keep in mind, guys, that they really couldn't say a whole lot because they were still in VShojo's, NDA policy. And I'm pretty sure they all wanted to avoid a lawsuit. In Iron Mouse's video, she came with a heavy accusation. And I want to say that all of this is alleged, guys. Again, please keep that in mind. I would also love to avoid a lawsuit.
With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000.
No matter how many times I watch her video, it never fails to make me feel upset for her at all. Iron Mouse goes on to talk about her having a lack of trust in people, since in the past so many people have let her down, which is why she was hesitant, to even join VShojo in the first place. However, she took the opportunity to explain how much she did love the anonymity that VShojo had offered, since she also had safety concerns.
As my viewers know, privacy has always been one of my biggest concerns. I've had a lot of scary experiences in my life, so one amazing thing for me was the fact that VShojo handled all my payments, and it meant that I never had to give out any of my personal information, so that was always a blessing to me.
She also goes on to talk about how they would treat her at 4 minutes and 26 seconds into this video, telling her how important she was.
I would always be told how important I was for the company. And I was always told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed. Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody.
There's a lot of pressure to put on someone when the CEO, like as the CEO, it should be your job at the end of the day to be the reason why people have jobs. You shouldn't say without you, like this company would be nothing, like these employees would have no job essentially. You shouldn't put that pressure on another employee. It is your job to be making the money. Although, yes, I understand that the VTubers are also the reason why your company is making money, but if you had paid them like you allegedly have failed to do, then I don't know, maybe we wouldn't have been in this mess to begin with. You could have done various different collabs with different companies, like keep that momentum going, like broadcast your company to more viewers. You could have done more things such as that. You didn't have to, again, allegedly not pay your employees.
My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting over 300,000 subscribers and breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked VShojo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, VShojo has not paid the charity.
From my understanding, it sounds like Iron Mouse had gave the money to VShojo in order so they can then transfer that money to the charity, but yet they didn't transfer that money over, and it's been over a year. It's been well over a year, and that's where everybody is up in arms about. Where is this money that is missing that belonged to charity? 1 month before everything had exploded, Zentreya had decided to make an announcement on her stream saying that she was leaving VShojo. Now, even though I couldn't find the original VOD, I did find someone who posted up a 5-minute long video of her announcement. I mean, it makes sense considering that there are some people who like to archive streams of their favorite streamer or a streamer that is massively disliked just in case. Luckily, she's a streamer that is really liked. She right away starts off by saying, "Guys, I wanted to let you know that I will be leaving VShojo."
A lot of memories with this agency. You know, despite every up and down, I think it was still a fun ride. We all have to get off eventually onto a new ride. For me, this was a personal thing I needed to do.
I like what she says here, in all honesty, because she's trying really hard to not say anything bad, but most of that can be coming from the NDA. But again, I'm just speculating in all of this.
I will of course be keeping my IP. Everything you see here right now is me. Of course I'm keeping that.
This is extremely important to point out because this is something that a lot of people were asking, considering they were worried about the IP. The good thing about VShojo, if any, was that your name, your style of your models, it's all yours, okay? VShojo does not own anything. It is your brand. This is something that, in my opinion, should be an absolute standard, especially if you already came into a company with your own brand.
This is nothing for you to be scared about. I know this is kind of just a you know what the fuck moment, but at the same time, things in life happen. That is how life goes. Things change within our life and we learn to roll with it.
Right here, she's comforting her fans by letting them know that everything is going to continue as it has been. The only difference, of course, is that she's no longer going to be with VShojo. And she does go on to talk about being excited for what the future holds. If we look back to my lovely timeline that I made, Vebe had left VShojo the same year Kuro had joined, but she left on April 25th of 2023. And all I can say is that she is obviously the most excited out of all of them about leaving VShojo. Again, this clip is from one of her live streams on Twitch, but I was able to find a clip from a channel. Honestly, shout out to the ones that clip these.
I forgot to add my mama. Yo, hold on. There it is. Yeah, so as you already know, I did not renew my VShojo contract.
I'm telling you, she was very excited to share that she didn't renew her contract. But again, she says she can't legally talk about things. However, it makes sense. And she doesn't really honestly have to talk about it. However, one thing that is very interesting is something that she says later on in the clip. Although she is very hyped up on being an indie, which I completely understand, saying that she is still completely indie, even though she is now under Mythic.
Mythic basically gives me sponsorships where I can fuck around, stream whatever the fuck I want to stream, not worry about my view count, and just, you know, just do whatever the fuck I want to do and not censor myself.
Now here, it sounds like VShojo obviously wants to keep some sort of an appearance in order to maintain sponsorships. It completely makes sense, and it makes me wonder how restricted all of them were in the first place, creating the perfect image. In order to do that, I'm assuming you have to highly censor these VTubers, which is of course where the NDA is potentially involved in. An NDA that of course highly restricts you talking about whatever company you're working for. And not only did they have a lot of censorship, but they also had to apparently worry about their view count. Like, sir, how about you worry on your finances and not worry about their view counts?
Now, speaking of Mythic, because they're so cool, they decided to do a bunch of fucking giveaways for you guys to celebrate my debut because they give a fuck. Boys!
Sorry, I'm slipping away. No wonder she sounds so absolutely happy. And you know what? So would I in her case. Especially knowing what we later found out. After Iron Mouse's video had dropped, another VTuber had decided to break their silence by going live, and this live will last for an hour and 33 minutes, and yes, I have watched everything. You see, as I said in the very beginning of this video, Kei-san translate everything she says herself, and that was the case for this live stream. I have no problem with that, considering that all her fans deserve to know what's going on. Now, for the purpose of my video, I'm only going to be talking about the parts and pieces that were spoken in English, since I only speak English and Spanish. In the very beginning of the stream, I immediately feel so bad for her.
This stream is going to be about my story. I am not going to say anything about the other talents, because of course they could, they have their own channels, they have their own voices, and they can explain everything directly. Like, I think it has to be directly from them.
It's good that she right away makes it clear that this will be about her side of the story and that she won't be speaking about the other talents. She obviously must have known that people would have asked about the other talents as well, and it's a good thing that she nips it in the butt early on. She goes on to say that she was actually already planning on leaving VShojo on the 30th of July due to the lack of significant funds. Whiplash, anyone about the funds?
That's, that was like, there's so many limited things, I could say, I'm trying to say it very correctly and very, politely.
Now, she tries her best to speak politely about the fact that, you know, she has a lot of thoughts about the payments that were late, considering that they have done this thing before. Them having late payments is not a new thing, which again, she mentions various times in the beginning of the stream.
They haven't paid me since last year. I guess it was September. Till that time it was good. Everything was good. I did not have any complaints. Well, sometimes the payment was kind of slow. It was really not on time, but they paid. So I was like, okay, they're getting slow again. And then recently, well, it was becoming like, oh my god, this is not good. This is too late, and everything is, I think something is going wrong.
Right here, guys, is what I mean about the NDA. The fact that she was put into a position where it's like, do I try to force them to pay me by outing their bad business practice, or do I just wait and wait until I feel like paying me? You shouldn't have to just stay silent and wait for a company to pay you just because you're slapped with an NDA. They should pay you because you have done the work for them. Later, she talks about having the JP CEO on because she already streamed with him a couple of times before in the past, and she spoke so many good things about the company and that she's embarrassed. Imagine giving so much good promotion for a company who won't even respect you enough to pay you, but she shouldn't be embarrassed. If anyone should be embarrassed, it should be the company who let them all down.
Now that I know that I fucking lied too. So, I'm so ashamed of myself for believing in someone who only had interest in our money. Well, let's ask the VShojo CEO, VShojo JP CEO, about what the fuck's going on.
Now, this company has allegedly taken advantage of their VTubers, knowing full well they can't say anything because then they'll get sued over an NDA. Personally, it upsets me. It really does, but let's move on. When she first gets on the call with who she says is the JP CEO, obviously more comfortable speaking in Japanese, and I don't blame him. I would also prefer to do an interview in English since it is a language I feel more comfortable in. If you start speaking to me in Spanish, I'm going to be like, yeah, I can speak fluent in Spanish, but there's going to be words that I'm not going to know how to pronounce. I'm not going to know how to word it correctly. And then I'm going to say something that's going to get me whooped. I did have to skip a lot when editing this video because the majority of this call was in Japanese, of course. But like I said, I have no problem with it. And even though it was in Japanese, I sat there and I listened to every single second just so I can hear about the little sections that were in English. And I would literally write timestamps of when those sections were. There were still some parts when Keisan would ask specific things in English, but beforehand, I just want to point out that her writing VShojo JP CEO for now is absolutely hilarious to me.
So did you just say that VShojo JP itself was doing good?
そうですね。
In finances too?
そうですね。
You haven't paid me. I quit VShojo today.
はい。
VShojo 辞めます今日。
はい。
はい。31日予定でしたけど、今日辞めます。I quit.
I love the fact that she basically, her attitude right here was just like, you know, fuck it, I quit.
You're telling me that VShojo JP was doing good? Looked like, at least.
はい。
Doing good.
払っていたとしても、ケイソンに払っていたとしても大丈夫だったっていう感じですね。
You're telling me you could have paid me?
そういうことです。
Then where is it? Where is it? I want it now. Did you just die? What?
いや、
I'm not even gonna bother. I absolutely dislike with such a burning passion that he confirmed that yes, the JP side was doing very well, in fact, better than the English side. Although when she asked where her money is and to pay her, it's like he forgot where he was. You knew where the conversation was heading that very same day, because that very same day, Iron Mouse had left. I'm pretty sure that was the hot, juicy gossip news near the water cooler. No way you could have missed that.
So this is what I want to know. And this is what everyone wants to know. Why did this happen? Why? Why? なぜ起こったんですか？こんなことが。Are you telling me that it's not like someone moved, like someone did something maliciously? It's like they just weren't good at it.
ということですね。
Finances. ただ、もう誰かが悪意を持ってやったんじゃなくて、ただただもう Are you getting paid right now?
I love that she goes from asking if no one made any malicious acts. And yes, honestly, he does confirm that. He essentially does confirm that nothing was done maliciously, but that they just weren't good with finance. And then Keisan just up and asked him like, are you getting paid? Like, I love Keisan so much. I absolutely do. She's just so straightforward and to the point. The important part is that in 50 minutes and 45 seconds into this live, Keisan points out that VShojo was still trying to get more talents, even though she wasn't even getting paid.
Is the debt gonna be paid? Is my money gonna be paid? Or even try to add another talent, multiple talents to this company. After I told multiple times that they haven't paid me and they have a lot of problems. What was that? What was that?
It just brings into question, why are you trying to get more people into your company when you don't even, or when you're not even able to pay the ones that you currently have on board? Well, how wasn't like getting them paid a priority, but getting more talents was a priority? Before I move on from Keisan, it's important that I read this one comment for more context of what he said, because I honestly cannot translate what he said for you. but luckily the comment section can. The Japan site CEO was also not getting paid at the moment. He said that he took a pay cut, and when answering Kaison's call, he's pretty straightforward about his answers as well. When asked about the team being incompetent, he agreed with Kaison, saying that some of the staff are incompetent. The CEO said that there are executives that make the decision and he's not one of them. So he's waiting on the decision as well. He's taking the blame too. At least that's nice to hear. And honestly, I also want to point out, guys, that even though, yes, he is taking accountability, I also kind of feel bad for him because he's essentially being put straightforward and saying, listen, I took a pay cut. Most of the stuff, I got no idea what's going on because I'm not even in the meetings when people decide on stuff. But yet you have people that are incompetent making decisions. I have no idea how that's even possible. And there's another comment that says, for clarification, VShojo's JP CEO only manages the JP talents and has no control over how the company operates or how the finances are handled for the EN, obviously the English side. Kaison doing this is essentially getting to the highest authority she can to speak on the matter. His statements boil down to, I don't know, because none of the EN's managerial or financial issues are communicated to the other branch. I completely 100% understand this. However, if the JP side was doing so well, as he did admit to in the call, why weren't these, VTubers getting paid? Why were they just being put to the side? Like, yes, I get it. You don't know because the English branch is obviously way different than the Japanese branch. However, you're still kind of, managing the Japanese branch, and they're also not getting paid. So essentially, it's basically like he has no control on saying like, hey, I need to get these VTubers paid as soon as possible. No, he's just a manager. Still awesome though that Kaison had the guts to call him on stream and just be like, I quit without any notice.
Talent first, my ass.
Kuro's live stream of him leaving was almost 2 hours long, and yes guys, I watched it all. I like that he has a demeanor like that one song from Mulan that says let's get down to business. Yeah, that was essentially this live stream. It was just let's get down to business. And don't worry, we're only really going to be talking about the first 40 minutes. This is only because the other hour is him essentially answering questions that I'm pretty sure he's already been answering 100 times before. But it makes sense because when you're live streaming, people trickle in like at different sections of your video and don't really catch the beginning or the middle. Some of them come, right near the end. So it makes sense for him to be essentially repeating himself. Now he starts off the stream with a song saying that he's no longer working with VShojo. I'm not gonna play the song just in case, but I love that. I love the fact that he right away says that he's indie now. It was just fun. It's a catchy tune. Was I singing it afterwards or at least humming it afterwards? Yeah. He does seem to want to joke around at first, but again, he knows how to read the room and he says that they have serious things to talk about. Now, it takes him a bit because he says he saw other members were making videos and he just wanted to stream instead of making a video for YouTube and doing all of that. That way people could just straight up look at his VOD.
You're probably like, well then, what the hell's gonna go on with the current merchandise? And what the hell's gonna go on with future merchandise? I only had one merchandising sale that hasn't been like fully sent and fulfilled yet, which is my most recent one. Don't worry, if you bought that, they are planning to still fulfill it. Okay, I made sure of that when I had my discussions like 11 days ago. They are still going to fulfill those, so the people who bought the signed posters and stuff, here's a good thing. All of my merch, I didn't really brand it as VShojo merch.
He makes it clear that he only really had one merch and that merch is still being sent out, because he does point that out right away, like, listen, I know a lot of people bought this merch and, use their money to buy it. And from what he knows, it's still being sent out and it doesn't have the VShojo logo on it or anything of that matter. He points out as well that he's still going to be selling merch in the future, but he's just going to be partnering with a different company now. I know this is something that needs to be addressed, especially because people are spending money on your merch and they're probably wondering if it's even going to be sent to their home if they're going to be refunded, or if everything is just up in the air right now.
I have done this before. This is a little different than last time, because last time I chose to leave a company that was still existing. This time, I'm choosing to leave a company which I'm pretty sure is ceasing to exist. At least don't quote me on that, but like, I mean, there's 0 members currently.
Of course he says that because so many of the members had already left at this point. But ironically enough, VShojo would later go on to make a big decision, alright? Kuro gets onto talking about his first year in VShojo being the best that he's ever had in any previous company, saying that his contract was great and that there were so many collaborations between VShojo and other companies. Now, as you can see on screen, yes, I made a timeline and so many other things for the purpose of this video. Anyway, as you can see and remember from the beginning of the video, Kuro joined VShojo in 2023, so that would be the good year that obviously he's talking about, the year that went extremely well. And honestly, they were. That was the year that VShojo was nominated for Best Content Company at the Streamer Awards, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are happy that they didn't even win. On July of that same year, VShojo even had their own Japan panel at the Anime Expo with Kei-san in person and Henya on screen. And that wasn't even the 10th of what happened that year alone.
The second year, you might have noticed that there wasn't as much VShojo collaborations, like full group collaborations. Everyone kind of started doing their own thing, and like not really doing stuff associated with like the name of VShojo. It was more like their own thing. Did you guys notice that?
This makes sense because few things happened that year. It wasn't like they did have a collaboration with Nike for an anniversary music special and It'd Be So Lovely in order to make jewelry inspired by Haruka, Henya, Iron Mouse, Fruit, Melody, Ends, and Treya, and collaborating with Do Not Peak for that charity outreach. Again, they did have collaborations, but nothing comparable to the year beforehand.
Before knowing about this charity thing, by the way, this is before any of that, but for that extra year, it's because we had meetings. We had meetings with Gun and other people talking about like what we don't like and what we want to see improved. And we were told that things were going to improve.
It's sad to see that going to Gunrun and talking about things you want to see change and saying like, hey, you know, I don't like this, I would like something else and this and that, and extending so many chances because you obviously wanted to do better, and then seeing that at the end of the day, it was not better at all.
We receive our money directly to us for like Twitch, right? Like Twitch, YouTube, anything like that. The only thing that we don't receive is merchandising and sponsors.
It's good to see your clarification on how they get paid, and as glad as I am to hear that Kei-san still obviously had some money to fall back on, it wasn't all her money. It is true that sponsorships pay well more than a regular stream. With the stream alone, your revenue is coming from subs, bits, and ad revenue, and depending on how frequently you have been playing ads, you're still not making that much. I mean, if we're talking about someone who streams solely on Twitch, the fact that Twitch has this whole 70-30 split payment with the streamer having the 30, and I'm not even completely sure how YouTube streaming works since I don't really stream on here, I just upload videos. If someone knows, please do let me know in the comment section down below.
You guys remember when I debuted in 2023? I sold a bunch of merch. I think I had like a shirt, acrylic stand, right? I debuted in 2023. Yeah? So, I got paid for that in June 11th. June 11th, this year.
He waited 2 years, okay? They waited 2 years to pay him. He joined VShojo September 30th of 2023, and he didn't get paid for his merch until June of this year? Are you serious? And to top that all off, He mentioned that there was no spreadsheet to know how much he was owed, so I doubt the others had those sheets. I doubt anyone knows exactly how much they were owed until they started doing their own finances, or at least taking a peek into them just like Iron Mouse had. He goes on to say that VShojo pays merch quarterly, so you basically just trust whatever your company is paying you with and hoping that that's actually what they owe you. Because, you know, you're really not expecting them to fraud you for money. But of course, after a year since he streamed every single day, he thought that the money was accounted for. He thought that everything was all good to go. He goes on to later explain that no one knew about the others' financial issues since no one really communicated that, since again, no one really wants to put their business out there like that. And besides, how would that conversation even start? Hey, what's up guys? The company owes me $1,000. What? Would that be scones or chips? Going on to say that he was actually trying to leave VShojo 10 days before Iron Mouse had even come out with her video talking about VShojo potentially stealing money from charity. Unfortunately though, they kept dragging on the termination contract and not giving him what he asked for. He even said, I haven't really asked for anything about this company. The only thing I've ever asked for was a termination contract, and they weren't giving me the termination contract. But when Iron Mouse came out with her video, that's when he just straight up quit.
That debut merch is 2 years ago, guys. It's 2 years ago. It was fucking October, like 2023. Do you know how long that is?
Michi uploaded a VOD of 12 minutes and 36 seconds onto her YouTube channel, and right away starts off by saying that TTS, which is text-to-speech for those of you who don't know, will be turned off due to the seriousness of the topic. Also, just like everyone else, she says she's only talking about her side of things.
Let's just pull it off like wax, shall we? The situation! Yeah. Today, chat, I have officially left VShojo.
After giving the announcement that she's leaving VShojo, she honestly sounds so flustered given everything that's happening.
I can't get into too much specifics due to the legalities and all that big brain stuff, and I was told to be careful with what I say.
It's good in all honesty that she was told ahead of time to watch what she said, just in case anything were to fall back onto her, which is sadly usually the case with these type of things. She also does her best to explain how she knows that viewers want answers, telling people that if they haven't watched Iron Mouse's video, to go please support it.
I recently found out that VShojo owes me a good amount of unpaid debt. I also have other reasons that I was advised not to get into.
It is amazing and sad at the same time to see how many of these VTubers haven't gotten paid by this company. And again, considering that she was told not to speak on it, I'm assuming it's a lot of money. But again, these are just my assumptions. She cites that this is only one of her reasons, but it is clear that it is not just about money. She gives a bit of a backstory to why she even started streaming in the first place, and talks about her still enjoying to stream, but realizes once money gets involved, it just changed everything. Goes on to talk about a previous bad experience that she had with a company, but that VShojo promised that they would treat her better, and they did. She talks about, quote, bad habits that she had, which is a TOS friendly way of saying things, and VShojo reassured her that they were going to be able to fix things for her and sort everything out.
VShojo picked me up and they reassured me that this would not happen again and that they treat me better than before. And I'm gonna be so honest, chat, they did. I've spoken about this in the past and oh god, fuck, I'm so sorry if I cried today.
It makes sense that she would want to do anything for VShojo since they were the ones that gave her a second chance, since she even admitted that she came in with a lot of baggage. She didn't look too deeply into anything like finances to see if her payments were still there because she didn't have any reason to. It sounds like she had complete trust in them, which makes sense considering what they were able to do for her when she was first brought onto the company. She goes on and apologizes for not being transparent about everything, but like she doesn't have to say sorry. She does note that she's not going to stop streaming and tells her viewers to please not pressure or harass any of the other streamers because they deserve also their time and their space. Michi mentions that the other reason for leaving VShojo is something that she can't talk about and that she could only really mention the money portion of it. After everyone was essentially demanding answers from the CEO of VShojo, they had put out a statement on VShojo's Twitter profile. VShojo has failed. I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today, I am sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our cost, and I firmly believed, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I am deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin Gunrun. Before I move on to the responses to this tweet that was posted on July 29 of this year, I want to share a few of my thoughts. He said in the last section, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. He firmly claims that, willing to stand, as they say, 10 toes down, but he absolutely knew about it. Remember when VShojo partnered up with Do Not Peak Entertainment for the charity collaboration? Yeah, and there was Iron Mouse. Gunrun had even reposted it through his LinkedIn profile. Or maybe that's not what he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about the charity event that he proudly posted about on his Instagram account. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss considering it's the last thing he's ever posted on there. This is literally a picture of him holding up Iron Mouse in the charity event of Walk for Primary Immune Deficiency. Gunrun was even given the number 208 and Iron Mouse was given the number 292. In my opinion, my absolute opinion, the last part of his statement was very, very incriminating. Admitting to misappropriating charity funds, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital at our cost. After he admitted to talking about a charity, he makes it sound like he was using that charity money in order to pay some of the people back, or maybe something else entirely. I have no idea. Like I said, it's just my opinion, and I am absolutely not a lawyer. It's just funny how he claimed to not know about the charity initiatives when there's already two distinctive charity events that have happened. Do Not Peak Entertainment in 2023 and the IDF Walk a year later on August 18 of 2024. Not to mention, it's widely known how much money Iron Mouse raised in her first subathon charity stream of 2023 and another subathon next year in 2024. Now, please tell me, Gunrun, which of these 4 different charity events were you not aware of? Because last year on September 30th, you even congratulated Iron Mouse for her charity stream, remember? Words cannot express how I am feeling, nor can they express my gratitude. Thank you all so much for the incredible support, and thank you for changing my life. Thank you for being the best community in the universe. We dreamed big and we did it, bros. Love you all. And who's that profile that responded, you did it, Mouse? Oh, hold up. Oh, I'm sorry, that's yours. After VShojo / Gunrun posted their statement on Twitter, You could only imagine the rightful backlash, in my opinion, that this was receiving. Iron Mouse had even responded to his post saying, "You broke my heart, my spirit, and my trust." There was one from Crow putting up a picture of a confused cat that says, "Oh, I still don't get it." Zentreya would even break her silence on the matter, just saying, "I've been trying to figure out what to say. Why did you keep dodging my messages and concerns? When I wanted to do one-on-ones, you kept dodging, or you gave me short corporate answer. When I was under immense pressure from the community for answers about the auditions and I pleaded for a statement by your PR team, you told me it wasn't needed. You made a tiny video instead, looking like you were hurt and upset, saying sorry instead of meeting me one-on-one for my concerns, and I was left crying and frustrated. But like a fucking dog, I went back happy to even get something from you because, oh man, boss actually answered me. You wanted one finally when you knew everything was crashing around you, then debuting new talents and such, even after the community kept asking about it and kept waving it off, letting me take the punches. I smiled. I fucking brushed it off and kept pushing the community because I was hopeful for new talent and bringing new people to help. Instead, I find you were hiring people without input and poaching without even the idea of truly helping them other than financial gain. We didn't know who you were bringing in. You and the team told us to just take it. You and some people were really ready for me to be thrown under over and over. Even when Amali joined, I begged you to put out a statement regarding auditions before she announced her debut stream. You gave us the middle finger. Me and Amali had to put out a statement because your PR team was unfit for their job. I took it all. Why did we have to say anything at all? Why did I have to keep taking the fucking damage over and over? You were hurting me well before this. You know you have. I've been pushing a company so blindly who didn't even care about me. But I'm an idiot and I kept believing. I was excited for this. I spent sleepless nights dealing with constant harassment, and you spent money which you didn't even have without even warning us on God knows what. And you knew, don't even lie, you knew that money was for charity and was supposed to be placed to the side to be untouched. Where did $11 million go in less than 3 years even? What happened to all that money? I'm just really tired from all these years of trying to push for something that kept pushing me to the wolves. I was so stupid, but I was so excited. I really trusted you. We all did. Despite everything, I don't wish any ill will. I just hope you find some way to make this right. I cannot imagine having to deal with all of that, and it didn't matter whatsoever that you were one of the first VTubers to join VShojo, thinking that they would have at least some form of confidence in Zentreya or Iron Mouse about their struggles. However, that's not what happened, and that's not what happens in general. Companies aren't going to want to tell you that they're doing horribly financially unless they have to. Viewers of my channel will know about Ubisoft talking about them going into the reds with losses, but they kind of have to, in my opinion. The difference between Ubisoft and VShojo is that Ubisoft is a publicly traded company, allowing you to buy multiple shares of its company if you can. However, that's only because your money is going to them. You're investing in their company and in what they're doing. But in order for you to know that, they have to be transparent about their quarterly earnings and losses. VShojo is a whole lot different in a way because they are privately owned. They are not obligated to inform anyone about any major losses or wins if they don't wish to. And in all honesty, guys, between me and you, how many companies are actually going to tell you that they're doing horribly? So today I am sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down. Now, many would argue that now because the company is shutting down, the NDAs would no longer be valid. And honestly, this depends on the type of NDA that the VTubers have signed when they first joined. For those of you who do not know what an NDA is whatsoever by any chance, it's a legally binding contract. A non-disclosure agreement is used to keep you with a nice little censored sign, to match mine. All jokes aside, NDAs are supposed to keep you from talking trash about the company, about its company secrets, or other things they just don't want getting out. A company shutting down, however, does not mean that your NDA is suddenly void. Most companies have what is known as survivorship clauses within their contracts, which is extremely important for when a company closes. This survivorship clause means that even though this company closed, it depends on the extent of time, I believe. Please help me in the comment section if you know way more about this. But let's just say I owned a company and I decide, okay, you all are going to sign these NDAs, but if the company closes, you guys still have to be legally binded to these NDAs for 2 years tops. However, the problem with that is that those NDAs still have to be enforced. And if no one is there to enforce the NDAs, even though it's still in effect, then does it even matter at that point? The reason why I had to explain all of that is because a Vebe responded to VShojo's statement. And so our NDAs are now void. Why I left VShojo. Back in 2023, VShojo tried to bully me into one of the most predatory contracts I've ever seen. When I tried to ask more about it, their COO got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any of my questions, and so I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification. During the talks, it became clear that VShojo would rather let me go than to take less money away from me. They were ultimately wanting me to give up more than half of all my sponsor revenue and over 60% of all merch sales. All I asked from them in return is to not take a cut of the sponsors that I was getting through Mythic, as that was a cut already being taken. They said no, they want it all. And so I asked to leave after being treated like I was disposable in our talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer and that they were the reason for my success, that I owe them and that I should be happy to give them my money. In order for me to leave, they demanded I sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any of the other talent about it. I could not say why I was leaving. I could not say what the terms that I was saying no to were. I even got in trouble for advising them to hire their own attorneys. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and then threaten to sue me. If I said anything that hinted towards how I really felt about the company, I was threatened with a lawsuit. Another one of their leave terms was that they will announce both me and Silver on the same day in order to minimize the damage to their company. Their COO has begun to push a narrative on 4chan. Yes, I'm serious, LMFAO, and other social media that I am leaving because I plan to join OTK and that both me and Silvervale are troublemakers, so they were letting us go. Later, I found out that Nanners wanted to leave around the same time due to also being unhappy with the contract, but was told she couldn't because it did not fit their narrative that they were pushing internally and externally. The amount of hate we've gotten over leaving, from fans calling us greedy bitches to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing aside the company because we're successful enough. Shit was fucking painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I had already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back fully. To add insult to injury, they also demand I pay them back 10k for some of the anniversary assets, which when they sent me back months later were half finished. Despite all of that, I've had immense faith that the company has gotten better over the past 2 years. I assume they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them and seeing all the new talent join. Clearly, this was not the case. Now for some facts. Their company lawyer has an expired law license. He literally does not practice law anymore, yet he was our point of contact for any legal help we needed. They actively pitted us against one another during my time there and compared our success to others. They tied enforcing streaming schedules so that our view count would look better due to less overlap. They would always shit talk other VTuber agencies. They literally would spend company money to get a tiny dig at them, especially Hololive. It literally lived rent-free in Gunrun's head. They were convinced Hololive was over when they signed Kason and Nazuna. Our previous talent manager got ghosted for 6 months by Gunrun, told not to do any work for us, and then got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any assistance. MTD got reprimanded for being creepy to us, LOL, got told not to message us privately, go figure. I have proof from other streamers attending their in real life parties that MTD would actively shit talk me after I left the company to paint me in a worse light imaginable. I don't know why you're acting innocent on Twitter pretending you weren't aware of anything. Can't wait to see all the shit that comes out about you because there's loads, but those aren't my stories to tell. Thanks for reading, and thanks to those who stuck around between then and now. Thank you for giving me, Silver, and Nan the benefit of the doubt when we needed it the most. The most amazing part of Vebe's tweet wasn't the fact that she was finally speaking, her truth and finally letting everything out, was Nanner's comment to it, saying MTD had the audacity to talk shit about you to my face at the party the year we all left and painted you as some kind of conniving, greedy, mean girl who was in my ear and manipulated me into leaving VShojo just because you wanted me to join OTK, cause her boyfriend Soda is a part of that organization, or for personal gain or some shit. He got uncomfortably close and up in my face and was like, come on, I know the real reason you left. I know it was cause of Vay. She talked you into it, etc. And it was infuriating. I know he spread that same shit to other staff, talent, and other industry people. Seeing one of my closest friends get dragged through the mud like this for years was awful. You did absolutely nothing wrong and had so much shit flung at you just because they wanted to push a narrative to protect the company. For him to act like he's completely blameless is insulting. He is a very creepy motherfucker, and there's a lot more obviously, but a lot of it is also not my story to tell. Watching all of this unfold while it was happening at the time was like watching your favorite movie protagonist make all the wrong choices. And can I just say that it's weird how there's a lot of VTubers that are also guys within the VTuber community, but the fact that there's only one, male VTuber out of 16 members, really? And after the statement about them closing, both Bebe and Nanners are now speaking about MTD being allegedly a creep to the point where he was told not to message them privately. And honestly, let's just say it how it is. Nowadays, creepy could mean anything, but the fact that he was specifically told to stop communication with them means a whole lot. Also, acting like because of VShojo, these VTubers like Bebe are even popular is downright hilarious. Everyone has something to offer in the sense of viewership, or else you wouldn't even be having them in your company to begin with. I know it's all about the numbers, so don't act like you're doing them a favor. Your whole business model depended on them making money for you, and you doing I don't know what with it. You sure wasn't paying them, allegedly. Even the streaming platform Twitch had enough with VShojo that they removed the Gunrun emo. Imagine having your own emo for such a long time, and then Twitch is just like, no, you're just a shithole of a company, let me just remove this. It was a bit after, but not too long afterwards, where it was now publicly known that VShojo didn't even pay the artists that worked with them. This means anyone who worked on models for any of the other talents weren't even paid either.
an artist or a musician and worked with me through the company and never got paid, please contact Roxy. Contact my team. Allegedly, it was told to me that people got paid in Minecraft, and now I am finding out that people did not get paid.
So, if the talents weren't getting paid and the artists weren't getting paid, then who was getting paid? While there is no more VShojo, the talents still need to be paid what they're owed, in my opinion, and in a lot of other people's opinions. It only opens them up to lawsuits, considering that they're based in California, which have the strictest rights for employees. After the various statements by former members of VShojo, a few things were clear to me. 1, they really care about their employees.
Talent first, my ass.
2, they care so much about charity.
That the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000.
3, they pay their employees on time.
With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid.
I recently found out that VShojo owes me a good amount of unpaid debt.
That debut merch is 2 years ago, guys. It's 2 years ago. It was fucking October, like 2023. Do you know how long that is?
You haven't paid me.
And 4, they're really all about supporting artists as well.
Allegedly, it was told to me that people got paid in Minecraft, and now I am finding out that people did not get paid.
Although, all jokes aside, I do see one way they could have avoided this entire mess. Well, hopefully. You see, while I dug into the members of VShojo from the oldest to the newest ones, one thing is certain. They all have fans that care so much about them. Gunrun, I'm pretty sure you thought about this, but you know, hindsight being 2020, I'm pretty sure you've forgotten. Why didn't you inform your VTubers so that maybe you could have hosted 84-hour fundraising event for VShojo and solely for VShojo and paying off what you owe? Some of your members stream for hours and hours, like Michi streaming for over 43 hours, or Iron Mouse who streams anywhere from 9 to 17 hours. Have 3 stream something together for however long, it depends on you, then have a 5-minute intermission in between all of those, and bring on 3 other streamers, and so on and so forth. You could have had Iron Mouse, Vebe, and Zentreya been just talking, have a 5-minute intermission, and then have 3 other streamers just do gaming content, and then keep switching it around for however long. However, that idea only works if you developed a good relationship with your VTubers. You run the risk, yes, of people jumping ship if they find out how bad it is, but you also have a lot that will stick by you. Kuro and Michi have admitted that their first year was fantastic, but when do you choose to go sour on a talent? Is it when they start getting a little too big? And of course, this would also require for you guys to not pin your talents against each other. I'm pretty sure some of you were saying, oh, well, this one has more view counts, you need to pick up the pace and this and this and that. That's probably why Kuro described his second year with VShojo the way that he did.
The second year, you might have noticed that there wasn't as much VShojo collaborations. Like, full group collaborations. Everyone kind of started doing their own thing, and like not really doing stuff associated with like the name of VShojo. It was more like their own thing.
The future of VShojo is dark and honestly non-existent, but Gunrun is now the face of VShojo, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. He is literally the sole face of VShojo. You no longer are hiding behind all these VTubers. Right now, the lawsuit that Iron Mouse is taking to VShojo is still in progress, and VShojo is honestly too broke to even file for bankruptcy. For those of you who don't know and are not aware, yes, you need money in order to file for bankruptcy. They need $338 for the court filing fee alone, plus way more for the attorney fees. And remember, according to Vebe, the lawyer that worked with VShojo doesn't even practice anymore. And depending on how complex the bankruptcy filings are, the attorney fees can be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 or more. This filing will no doubt be really complicated, so I'm assuming it will be way more than $3,000. I'm assuming anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000, which is honestly why I think VShojo told Keisan that the talents needed to pay VShojo if any one of them wanted to get paid. Obviously, however, this will be going on for a while. You think that it would be quick since VShojo doesn't have any money to keep going, but no. Iron Mouse has even stated on her stream that VShojo/Gunrun has been ghosting her lawyer.
I'm just a little frustrated because my lawyer's being ghosted. But that's okay. Yeah, lawyer be like, hello? It seems to be a similar experience for everyone. So it seems like a lot of people are also having trouble communicating.
I'm pretty sure most of the talents just want all of this to be over, but I'm sure Gunrun doesn't. Imagine how much money they'll owe to every VTuber if they lose. Then in order to file for bankruptcy, they'll have to hand over files of everyone's missing payments. Oh wait, they didn't even have sheets for it. There's so many lingering questions that the VTubers need answers to. They gave VShojo so much of their time, money, and dedication for what? VShojo seemed to have gone after VTubers who have already had bad experiences with different companies. And why? My opinion is that they made everyone's first year so great so they can feel indebted to them. Michi seemed to have felt this exact same way for sure, the way she said in her video. Got people like Iron Mouse and Keisan who already had trust issues and got them to trust you for what? I think consequences need to be had currently, but who knows when they'll actually get their justice. I can't say thank you enough for even clicking on this video, let alone watching it. In the description, I have a Google Doc link to where I put the links of all the videos that I use. I did go to some of their current streams for, the VODs for regular clips of theirs, like I used for Zentreya or Michi for one of her streams. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you can, please support a lot of these VTubers. Honestly, they all are fantastic to watch. I wish I had enough time to watch all of them. I really do. I want to give a huge thanks to my friend TryRogue95, who I use their whole rigging video that they gave me for the purpose of this video. They do commission work like their own VTuber models, and they also do emotes and animated emotes. Honestly, they have a whole coffee page, but I'll just link up their stuff, in the Google Doc form, and I'll let you, adventure on your own. I am so sorry this video took me such a long time to make, between researching and writing and diving into way much deeper rabbit holes than what I needed to get into. It took me such a long time, and I am so sorry. Thank you for tuning in and for watching, and honestly just being an amazing person. Please remember not to send any hate. I don't even want Gunrun to receive any hate or any harassment his way. Thank you all again so much for watching. Again, sorry the video is late, and have a really, really good weekend. Bye-bye.